So I saw this article this morning. It was great. It was on CBSSports.com. And it was basically an evaluation of the tools provided to the 5 quarterbacks taken in round 1 and, how quickly, number one, how quickly they'll play. And in most of the instances, it's obviously very easy to deduce. Trevor Lawrence, as long as the hamstring's right, he's playing immediately. Zach Wilson playing immediately. Both Tiki and I expect Mac Jones to play immediately. Lance he's not playing immediately, and he might not play a lot this year at all. Justin Fields is the one wild card. And if you've listened to this show, I'm not going to bat with Andy Dalton for anything. No disrespect to the Dalton family, but I just can't justify that if I'm the Bears. I also think that, and I keep hearing this, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trey Lance too. Trey Lance is really raw. Justin Fields is not nearly as raw as some people think, but some people still think you need to protect him, which I don't believe is, number one, accurate, nor do I believe that even if you're right with that assertion, that there's not a way to coach around any readiness, if you will, like week 1 readiness. You just roll the kid out. He's an elite athlete. So if you don't have an abundance of offensive weapons, which they do not, good defense, dearth of offensive weapons. It's been their problem for years out there. But I really think you can, kind of throw this young man a life preserver, and he's not going to drown in the first month of the season unless he is woefully swallowed up by the playbook. Something else I don't anticipate. Justin Fields should start for Chicago. But anyway, so the 5 quarterbacks. Now, in totality, and this is very rare in this respect, think about all the years quarterbacks get drafted. And I'll even take the 2 that are within a 20-mile radius of where I am right now, right? The Jets and the Giants. When the Jets drafted Darnold, I'm not even going to waste America's time on that because I've wasted America's time too much on Sam Darnold, and I wish him well, and I'm a big fan of Sam. What they did to him was disgraceful. We all know that. But even in the same stadium, co-tenants, the Giants. Now, it's easy to forget because they seem to have the right coach now, Joe Judge, who I love. Tiki loves as well. We've had him on the show. They've got players. They tightened up the defense. I think Daniel Jones will be fine, if not good. But when Daniel Jones was drafted there, they had nothing either. It was the end of the Eli era. You had to contend with that. The PR stuff. Do you bench Eli? What do you do? We saw how that played out when he came in Tampa. Offensive line was as porous as it gets. What I'm saying is, of the 5 quarterbacks taken in round 1 this year, there is not a single quarterback, including Zach Wilson, all right, who before this offseason, the Jets were utterly bereft of even a modicum of talent. I even think Zach Wilson has a chance to succeed because if you look at these situations, not only are outside of Trey Lance, who's not going to play right away, if at all, they've all had a lot of reps. Trevor Lawrence, polished. Zach Wilson's played a lot of football. Mac Jones played a lot of football. Justin Fields played a lot of football. So you kind of run into trouble, usually, history, reveals this, when you have the outlier like Mitch Trubisky, who played 11 games in college, and then he's thrust in, and he's not ready. The polish isn't there. The repetition's not there. It's not ingrained in the muscle memory. I look at these players. I'm going to put Trey Lance in a separate category, but even with Trey Lance, he very well might be the beneficiary of the most quarterback-friendly system in terms of this exotic run scheme that the 49ers deploy, which obviously makes it easier on everybody throwing the ball, including the offensive line in pass protection. So I think, now I'm not saying we have 5 Hall of Famers. I'm not saying that. But I would be very surprised, number one, Rob Saleh, I believe, is going to be a great coach. Not good, great, all right? Very quietly, the Jets' offensive line's become more than adequate. I mean, what they did on the left side with Becton 2 years ago, and then what they did this year, moving up and getting the guard, Tucker, from USC with the trade with Minnesota, that left side, I mean, you got guys 6'7", 370 and 6'5", 330. I mean, the left side is a wall. And then you bring in Morgan Moses for the right. I mean, the Jets are going to be okay, offensive line-wise. So I don't think he'll get swallowed up. Trevor Lawrence is as ready as any prospect I've ever seen. I want that hamstring to go away. It's been barking a little bit this early stages of the summer. And you don't know, to be fair, you don't know what Urban Meyer is going to be as an NFL head coach. Nobody does. All right? And I don't even know Salah. My instincts tell me he's going to be great because of from even Pete Carroll when he was with Seattle. I mean, the way people rave about Rob Salah, I feel very good about that. That's who I wanted, by the way. I think Urban Meyer is just brilliant enough in football to figure it out. I think there'll be some missteps, maybe with things he says at press conferences, but that won't be a bad thing necessarily. But in totality, this crop of Mac Jones, let me put it this way. If Mac Jones fails to beat out Cam Newton, then Mac Jones, and I'm not 100% so, Tiki, I like Mac. Tiki loves Mac. But if you can't beat out Cam Newton, if it's really an even playing field, then you're not necessarily what a lot of people thought you might be coming out of Alabama in terms of NFL readiness. I think Mac Jones starts day one. I know Zach Wilson's starting day one. I know Trevor Lawrence is starting day one. I just said before, Justin Fields should absolutely start day one. And the other guy who's going to be on ice, gets to watch a good, not great, a good veteran in Jimmy Garoppolo and work with one of the brilliant young coaches in the game. Really, in Shanahan. So I just think that these players are uniquely set up to thrive and to, no bold assertions here, no 35 touchdowns, Pro Bowls, MVP, the Super Bowls in a couple. Just saying, just to get their career off the runway, which pertaining to quarterbacks is paramount and painfully elusive for far too many, like Darnold, right? And I could give you a million other examples. Like, I'll give you one right now who's now a superstar. Yeah, I said superstar. Superstar, not star, superstar. If Josh Allen was drafted by the Bills years ago instead of this iteration of the Bills, Josh Allen may have flamed out. Josh Allen after year one was bad. I mean, we all knew he could throw it 80 miles in the air and he could run, and he's a big boy who could truck you over in the open field. His mechanics, his percentage, whoa. He was woefully short of being a franchise quarterback. What'd they do? Coached him up, protected him, went out and got Diggs, got Cole Beasley. Nothing. We'll check down. There you go. Completion percentage goes right up. Efficiency goes right up. Sustained drives right up. And now we see who he is now going into year 4. So, but then there's myriad examples. Josh Rosen's one. I think I'm a Kyler Murray fan. You know that. Big fan. But I'm not even sure if he's got the right coach. I don't know. Baker Mayfield was on the precipice of being ruined if they didn't make the hire that they made. So, again, it's a really good article. I didn't want to just recite the article and run through. What they did was, I should probably give you this brief synopsis before we get the update so you know what you're looking for. They took, I think it was 5 or 6 levels of criteria, offensive line, coaching, offensive weapons, even defense for field position, et cetera, pressure. And they assigned a numerical value to that. And then they computed all of that. And then based on the numbers, they listed, in descending order, 5 through 1, the players they thought had the best chance for immediate success. I would debate their order, but that's not the point. It's interesting, it's thought-provoking, and it's really good content. Check it out, cbssports.com. Mike will actually tweet that from our show account. I think you guys will want to dig into it. It's really, if you are the fan, or a fan, pardon me, of the Jags, or the Jets, or the Pats, or the Bears, or the Niners, you're going to want to read this. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.